Hey YouTube, it's JP Dillon. Today we're looking at a 1960s Universal brand 8 transistor AM radio. Customer complaint is that it's dead. I guess he bought it used and someone made it nice and pretty looking. You can see they shined up the grill real good. Looks like someone's put a coat of paint on it and did some repairs to the cracked plastic back here. So it looks kind of nice. It's obviously a shelf clean since it's not operational. And we're going to see what's going on with it and what's needed to make it work. So let's see if I can get it apart single-handedly or if I need to put the camera down. It's probably, let's just put the camera down. So getting it open, this is kind of neat. It's got this original owner's manual type thing here. Let's see if I can unfold it. Instructions. Ooh, fancy. So this is not a Hong Kong one. It's at least made in Japan or printed in Japan. Battery insertion. Use 9-volt transmitter battery. Operation controls. Earphone attachment. Helpful hints. Battery consumption dependent on volume level. Really? Okay. Don't leave batteries in for extended period. They may corrode. May be necessary to turn radio for better reception. When volume level begins to decrease, it is advisable to replace the battery before it exhausts completely. Too bad no schematic, but that's pretty cool. Take a look inside this thing. Very simple. What do we got there? 3 IF stages. Then you've got your 2 little transformers and then the output stage. One's an interstage transformer, one's an output transformer. Kind of neat. All right. Let's apply power to it and see if it does anything. And for that, I love using this little microtina thing, which I already have preset at 5 volts, and allows me to monitor the current up to an amp. It only supplies an amp, so I don't have to worry about cooking these things too bad if there's a dead short or something. All right, so I'm going to hit the power switch, and we're going to watch the current meter there. Absolutely nothing. So no current draw whatsoever. Let's check and see if our switch here is just corroded and needs to be cleaned. Alright, so I'm going to get our power switch here and we're going to ohm it out. Not great. Yep, we definitely have some intermittence there. Yeah, not great. Alright, so what I do in that instance, let me get a little tiny piece of sandpaper here. This is 1000 grit, and I'm just going to go between the contacts here and turn the switch to the on position and then rub them back and forth. See if we can get a more consistent continuity. And maybe just finish it off with a little bit of deoxit. And let's see how we did here, if we can get some sort of consistency back. That's pretty good. Nice and consistent. Alright. So let's hook our power supply back up. And let's see if we get sound. And if we get any kind of current draw. Watch that little meter over there. Still nothing, huh? All right. So let's see if we're actually getting to the switch. We got that there. And then there should be a ground connection somewhere. Trying to figure out where a good place to tap would be. There we go. Okay, so we have continuity from here to the IF can, which is usually grounded. And this is going to have a positive ground. And here we have continuity through there. Yeah, there's our 9.8 volts. A little bit high, but whatever. So, in theory, the radio is getting power. But there's almost no current draw. I don't hear anything. There's zero change on the power supply. So it's time to take the board up and take a look and see what might be causing that. It looks like there's just a couple of screws that hold this in. Now, even with a bad transistor or two, open transistors, we should have some form of current draw. We don't have anything, even though the electricity is getting to the downside of the switch from the battery. But that's not to say that it's getting it completely, so we really don't know. Let's go ahead and remove this if we can. It's going to fight me. And let's start tracing stuff out. Let's take up this volume control knob here. I'll make sure to lose the screw. That way it'll never go back in there ever again. I'm good at that. Let's set this over here. Okay. Soldering's not great on this thing, but that shouldn't have really stopped it. So let's take a look for continuity. And probably the best way to do this, we're just going to turn this on. And we're going to hang one side of our meter on the battery connection. That's right. All right, so up to the switch we're good. And just tracing this back, making sure we're getting there. Okay, so that's where that part of the ground plane stops. And then we got this here. And that goes through this resistor. And let's see what's on the other side of this resistor here. That measures 5.4K. What's it supposed to be? Looks like a 10K is brown, black, orange. Okay, so now we can switch over to that point where we terminated at the resistor. We can make sure all this stuff here is all right. It's hard to tell if that's supposed to be isolated or not. Doesn't appear to be. All right, so here's one issue. I don't know if you can see that there, but there's a crack right there. It looks like somebody's tried to jumper across these things already. Because if I'm here, it's hard to tell if that's supposed to go through. Maybe I'm mistaken here. Maybe it's not supposed to go through. Yeah, it looks like this goes around it. All right, false alarm. So up to that point, we're good. And then we go to this transistor here. So that part of the continuity check is good. So let's follow the negative lead and see where this attaches down here. Yeah, it appears as though we have a loose wire. Don't know how I didn't see that, but so be it. We're going to get a little knife here and strip this away. Then we'll tin it and reattach it. You can see the bit of it sticking up over here, so that's significant. All right. Let's see if that obvious thing that I was not seeing makes it a little bit better for us. Apply some power to it again and see if we get any flicks on the meter. I must have the polarity wrong. Nope, no matter what, that ain't right. See how it wants to look like a dead short, so we got something going on there that ain't right. Let's see where that wire is supposed to go. So maybe that wire was not supposed to go there. Because this looks like it's for the transformer. That wire goes to the transformer, so maybe that isn't it. Maybe it's supposed to go here. So obviously placing it here leaves us with a dead short, so we can't leave it there. I'm trying to see if there's some other obvious place that it might have been attached to. Because it's definitely true that someone's been messing with this. So maybe it's supposed to attach to that headphone jack over there, since it is at the output of the transformer. Because right now, we have one wire going to the speaker, but not two. So maybe let's take a look underneath here. Yeah, I'm thinking it was supposed to attach to this jack somehow. Now that I look at it a little more carefully. And I think down here, I see something that looks like old solder work. So let's see if we can reattach this. Really kind of hard to see here. It's like this wire isn't long enough. Or maybe it was, and until you tried to take the board out with the jack still attached. Come on out. All right, let's try this. And we'll attach the ground to there. Completely burning my finger off in the process. Okay, let's see if we have any sign of life now. Well, that was promising. Little crackle of noise there. All right. We do have some form of sound. Let's make sure our polarity is right. So we get a little bit of current draw there. It's almost impossible to turn this thing without the knob on it, so I'm just going to put this back in since we're done troubleshooting the traces anyway. So in one way we get a click. And this should be the less current draw. So, all right, we got something. I hear a hiss. Lots of squeal, not much volume. I'm sure it's got lots of dead capacitors in it. But it's alive. I'm surprised at how little current it draws. It's pretty cool. All right, let's bust out the famous capacitor wizard and start checking them. I have the suspicion that it's just going to have a bunch of dead electrolytics in it like they all do. But the fact that it kind of sort of works is a good thing, right? And since we already got the board up, that'll make it handier. All right, so we got this 30 microfarad here, which is absolutely dead. There's 5 microfarad here, barely registers. Another 30 microfarad, which is here. They've got these radials stretched out. Am I hitting that in the right spot? Yeah, that one's dead. You got this, what is this, 100 microfarad, 6 volt. Down here, that is very dead. That's kind of what I thought. This is a pretty simple radio, though. So we've got, what, 4 capacitors in the entire thing? Yeah, not much to that. So 100, 230s, and a 5. Let me go grab those real quick. All right, so I've got our caps. Let's grab some solder wick. And we'll just start replacing these guys. There's only 4 of them. So we'll just replace them, see how much it improves, see what else we need to do to it. It's just like the really boring part. But you can always hit fast forward if you don't want to watch it. I'd like to thank all the people that kind of spread the word around about me needing more work, because I have gotten some more work, and that's very good. At least enough to stave me off for a while. I made a post a couple days ago about my wife starting up a a YouTube channel for people that want to learn how to crochet. Whatever my community posts were. I forget what the name of the address is because it has numbers after it. So anyway, she's the Crafty Sunflower, and she does classes on teaching kids how to crochet and stuff like that. So take a look at that. Spread the word if you would, please. And let's see, so the 30, it's going to go in here, and I'm kind of mimic the old way it was done, in case there's some sort of space constraint I'm unaware of at this moment. There's one. Oh, and if you're looking for really good news, the owner of that JVC AW6001 got a parts chassis. So when we plow through a couple of stuff in front of that, we'll be able to get to that machine, and the parts chassis looks complete, so hopefully we can get that radio running, because that's a pretty cool multiband radio, and he definitely wants it fixed. So the fact that he went through the effort to go get a parts machine is commendable, because a lot of times in this field, when I see machines that have been butchered that require parts units to get fixed, most people just say, nah, not going to do that, and they'll just abandon it here. Also thinking about doing like a fixing junk kind of thing, because I got a lot of stuff abandoned here that people really just didn't want to invest the time into, even if it was something relatively straightforward and simple. And I wonder what you guys' thoughts are on doing like a fix this junk kind of thing, or if it's something really straightforward, we just repair it just for the sheer entertainment purposes of it. Just a thought for the future. Let's see, let's wick some of that away. Where was that? There it was. Okay, in goes the next number, 30. This is actually a 33, but And we just have the 100 microfarad and the 5 microfarad, and then we can fire this thing up and see what it does. I assume, since all the capacitors were essentially dead, that it's going to behave a lot better. I don't expect stellar performance out of this thing because it seems like it's a very simple radio. Let's see, the 5's up here. See if I can get this out of the way so I don't burn away the battery terminal holder. You know, if you're really starting to get into electronics in the basic sense, these little AM radios are kind of cool to tinker with. They don't have high voltages in them. You're not going to murder yourself if you touch some potentials together. It's, what, 9 volts. I wonder how much current a little 9-volt battery puts out. It can't be too much, I assume. Let's put this up here. And since that was a full radio, I'm just going to cinch it down here like this. Hope that doesn't interfere with anything. And then I think we just have that 100 microfarad, and then we can fire it up. So this guy first. Clop, clop, clop. And the other end of this is over here by this plastic dial, which I'm sure I'm going to burn a hole in. But hey, I didn't need that anyway. Maybe time to cash in these hemostats because they're getting a little bent out of shape. Alright, that's our 100 microfarad. Not sure I'm going to be able to stretch this one all the way. Probably not. Yeah, it doesn't look like it wants to do that. So, a little bit of bendy flexy there. And I completely pushed up that foil trace. So we'll have to very carefully put that back down. Alright, there's that. And there's that. Now we can solder that guy in. Okie dokie. Trim away the excess and then hook up a battery. See what happens. In this case, it would be our power supply. Well, that's a good sign.
J-Mac, we have Joel. Muy buenos días. Actually, the way it was reported, I think we even read by the New York Times.
This thing sure does like to whistle.
Why do people believe Hamas?
Okay, so it's working pretty good. Let's go ahead and reassemble it and give it one final check here. And I gotta get a way to get that headphone jack back in there where that break and stuff. That's probably how that wire got broken in the first place, was taking the board up without first removing the jack. Although this came in dead, so that assumes that either the owner messed with it or whoever had it before him messed with it. I don't really know. Doesn't matter terribly. Let's see if I can install this in such a way that it doesn't short out against anything. Man, there is not a lot of room. Yeah, not a lot of room for messing with stuff. Come on. I have to be very careful how I put this in here, otherwise the jack's going to get broken when I tighten it down because of its proximity to the little hold down bracket for the speaker. So I got to be careful about that. I can definitely assume someone was in here before because of the lack of hardware. It's missing a screw. I don't know if I have any of these. These are ISO, but they're a much coarser thread than what I'm used to. Now you want a stick? Didn't want a stick coming out. And the other one down here. Okie dokie. So I need one for up here. Let me take a quick look at my hardware stash and see if I can find something. Alright, so this might work. I guess we'll find out, won't we? And this is non-magnetic, so I need to get my hemostats out and grab it. And of course, it's not going to cooperate going in. I'm sure I will lose the screw in some way that I'll never find it again. Alright, it's in there. Let's see if it goes in. It does thread. Good. Okie dokie. Dial doesn't stick. That's good. Let's pop a battery in there and let it run on its own. Pop one of the famous Amazon batteries in here. Yeah, just kind of flops around in here. Not really thrilled about that, but yeah, there's no actual holder. And it says to use the 9-volt transmitter / radio battery. And then this was in here. Just kind of willy-nilly. Go figure. I wonder if I busted that wire loose on the headphone jack again. Bet you I did. Of course, let's find out if this is actually a functioning battery, since I just plucked it off of the shelf. Yep, 9.3 volts. So let's double check my work here. I'm betting I popped that wire loose for the speaker again, because there was no click or nothing. Yep, I popped something loose. That red one down there. There's very little room to work in here. I guess it came off of there. Brittle old wire. Should have double checked that before I popped it all back together, but whatever. And this looks like it attaches back here. Alright, so before we button this all back up again, let's double check that it works. Alright, very good. Alrighty. Let's try this again.
Israel must stop the threat. Since then, he's gone 7.
Oh yeah, our music station that was 690 is gone. It's now Hispanic News. works pretty good.
The MyPillow. They have made the MyPillow 2.0.
So this thing's good to go. So that was fun. Hope you guys enjoyed this video of fixing this little guy. And more stuff to come. Thanks for watching.